What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining me once again. Welcome to the Wrestle-MaGiC channel, the wrestling channel by wrestling fans, for wrestling fans, with wrestling fans like you in mind. Raw just ended, and because I am an idiot, I am up at midnight recording this video. Yay! Anyways, I wanted to roll right into Raw. I'm going to be reviewing Raw and NXT from week to week, while Brad is going to take SmackDown and 205 Live. Brad, let me see you do better. Bring it. Raw opens up with MIZ TV with his guest, which is supposed to be Jason Jordan. But Kurt Angle comes out and tells Miz, no, I have a much better guest for you, Brock Lesnar. Now, the Miz is one of the gutsiest wrestlers I've ever seen. He had the cojones to shut Paul Heyman down in his tracks, saying, when my hand goes up, your mouth goes shut, Paul. And I was like, ooh, this is going to be good. Miz runs down Brock Lesnar, and Paul Heyman says that, here, let's do a bit of role playing. Miz, you're Roman Reigns. Bo, you're Samoa Joe. Curtis Axel, you're Braun Strowman. Brock Lesnar plays himself, and this is a preview for this first SummerSlam. And Brock just absolutely destroys him. Suplex, suplex, suplex. F5, F5, F5. That's like you're trying to restart a computer. Anyways, Brock Lesnar looks strong heading into SummerSlam, even though I don't think he's going to be winning. Most people don't. The Miz said that so much so on his TV that he has a 0% chance of winning, and I think that's the case. But nevertheless, Brock Lesnar looks strong here. Then, before commercial break, you see Seth Rollins walking backstage, setting out for a match between him and Sheamus. And I think that match was really good. It was really good. It was nice pace and everything. It was a little bit better to me than their match from last week. Seth loses to Sheamus, and Seth, furious of his loss, starts beating up on Sheamus. Revenge from last week, just polar opposites. And Cesaro beats him up. No Dean to save him. No Dean whatsoever. And then Seth Rollins goes backstage. Blows up at Ambrose, saying, why didn't you have my back? And Dean said, I told you it was a runoff. I told you not to do it. And he's like, now I look like a jerk, right? And Seth's like, yeah, that's because you are. So Dean told him that he has a match against Cesaro, and he's going to do it alone. We'll see about that. Next up, Jason Jordan comes out to the ring when he was supposed to be fighting Curtis Axel, but that match didn't necessarily happen as they are, like, dead from Brock Lesnar. So he finds a local jobber. I forgot who it was, but they're in Toronto, and he had like a very French-Canadian sounding name. And he loses to Jason Jordan after getting a couple good shots in. There was a crowd chanting, let's go jobber. They really do not like Jason Jordan. They really do not like that he's supposed to babyface this, which we will get to in just a little bit. But Jason Jordan picked up the win after hitting his new pop-up neck breaker thing. I really think they missed opportunity with ankle slam and ankle lock, but I digress. Then you had the Bayley interview. Now, Bayley was very generic here. She was trying to give something of a heartfelt thing, saying that she could not go to SummerSlam and that she had a shoulder injury. She's going to be out for a little bit. And the crowd was just booing her. She tried to say all the support of these people, of the people who supported me. Not you people who are booing me, the people who supported me. And she kept going like that. The crowd was just destroying her. Destroying her. They've really ruined Bayley. To a point where I think a heel turn is needed for her. Can you imagine a heel Bayley? Put your minds to it. I wonder if that's going to make a video. I wonder if it will. And that led us to our match between Sasha Banks, Alicia Fox, and Emma in a really fun competitive match. Alexa was on commentary. Sasha picked up the win by hitting the bank statement on Alicia Fox. And then after Emma broke it up, she got it on Emma, and Emma tapped out to it. She didn't see Emma losing this way, or losing in general. But Sasha Banks was almost like a candidate from the get-go. As for the other triple threat, which we'll talk about later, Nia Jax versus Dana Brooke versus Mickie James. Tell me who you think's going to win here. Tell me. After Braun and Strowman interview, which Braun Strowman's a heck of a talker, we go from one talker to another with Enzo Amore coming out, announcing that he and Big Show are now a tag team, which Brad calls End Show. You know, that sounds very stupid saying it. It really does. So End Show are interrupted by the club, and the club calls them a bunch of nerds, which can't blame them, and sets up a match between the club and End Show, and Enzo and Big Show who end up losing after Cass comes out, distracts Big Show, causing Enzo to get hit with the Magic Killer, and causes them to lose to the club. Afterwards, Cass comes in and starts beating up the Big Show. Enzo hits an amazing suicide dive. Enzo, where did that come from? And Big Cass eventually gets hit with a knockout punch, causing a later segment later on in the night with him and Kurt Angle trying to get a match between the two, with Enzo as far away as possible. So it's going to be Big Show, Big Cass, and Enzo Amore in a shark cage. They're really trying to sell those Crash Ring playsets, aren't they? So unlike last week, which I missed the Finn Balor promo and I missed the Bray Wyatt promo, I watched a promo this week with Finn Balor talking about Bray Wyatt. It was short, sweet, to the point. Unlike Bray Wyatt, because he's very cryptic with his words, and he basically says that he's going to destroy Bray Wyatt. He said he kicked his teeth down his neck. I was really hoping he would say throat in a weird way. He says it. He says trout. He gotta kick his teeth down his throat. His throat. His throat. Anyway, Bray comes out of nowhere, going to attack Finn Balor, but Finn Balor's just sitting up on the turnbuckle. Hey there. And Bray runs at him. Finn Balor just sends Bray packing again. Before he can hit another move on him, Bray Wyatt disappears. Does the whole bleh thing. And talks on the Titantron, telling Finn Balor to run. Run. Then we had Dean Ambrose versus Cesaro. This was a great match. It almost was a match of the night, which we'll get to later. But it was a really great match. Nice back and forth between the two. Cesaro's a heck of a wrestler. Dean does the Seth finish from last week and rolls up Cesaro for the win. And Sheamus beats up on Dean. Cesaro beats up on Dean. Seth comes and makes a save and saves him. And Dean Ambrose finally puts his hand out for the fist bump. And then Seth is like, yeah, no. And dips out. So there's still tension between the two. Is what I'm trying to say. There's still tension between Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins, and we're hopefully going to see it resolved next week onto a tag team title match between them and Sheamus and Cesaro. After a backstage segment with Akira Tozawa, Apollo Crews, and Titus O'Neil talking about Titus Brand, and Neville coming and warning Akira Tozawa about Arya Daivari, the two have a match. Akira Tozawa, Arya Daivari, shorter than their 205 Live match, significantly, about 4 minutes or so. Akira Tozawa picks up the win with another senton, just like on 205 Live. And he and Titus celebrate with a selfie. Rascal. Not doing this again. After Roman Reigns' interview, we had Nia Jax, Mickie James, and Dana Brooke. And did you think about who you're going to have win earlier? Because I thought it was going to be Mickie. No, it was Nia. Nia absolutely destroyed him within 2 or 3 minutes. Not like the match that we saw earlier, which was really fun. This was very quick. It was basically a Nia Jax squash match. So it's going to be Nia Jax versus Sasha Banks next week. The winner fights Alexa Bliss at SummerSlam for the Women's Championship. There you go. We had a Goldust promo talking about who he wants to be his SummerSlam opponent. He didn't say who, but he said next week he's going to find either a hero, or a villain, or a starlet, which means a woman in this case. So I don't know what Goldust is going for here. It should be interesting television to say the least. He's obviously moved on for R-Truth, and I think R-Truth is going to be very future endeavored very soon. But but we had a very cryptic Goldust promo. After that Kurt Angle and Big Cass segment that I mentioned earlier happening there, we had the main event, which was Braun Strowman, Roman Reigns in a last man standing match. It was a really nice match. Very violent, very brutal. There are a lot of times when Roman was just being thrown into the stage. There was a point where Roman Reigns just Samoan dropped Braun Strowman and the table like disintegrated, as Corey Graves liked to put it. Great spot. The match ended with Braun Strowman getting hit with a spear, and then he was almost counted to 10 when Samoa Joe grabs Roman. And then the referee, seeing this, gets distracted and tries to get Joe off of him, even though it's no DQ. Braun's still on the floor. He's done. He's out. He's lost. But no, Samoa Joe, Koki crosses him out, passes Roman Reigns out, and then he starts to count over from 1. Did the referee forget his count and all the excitement? I would assume so. But Braun Strowman gets up just barely, and Braun is given the win by Samoa Joe. Roman Reigns is laid out. Braun Strowman standing tall on the show. I'm going to assume, since Samoa Joe was standing tall on this show, that next week Braun's going to stand tall, or Brock is going to stand tall, giving us kind of a hint of what's going to happen at SummerSlam. So now for my rating, I will give it a 1 to 10 rating, 1 to 10 grade based on performance. Now, I just want to clarify for the record that I rewatched SmackDown from last week, and the live experience for me was still 10 out of 10, probably the best live event I've been to aside from my first one. But watching it back on TV, you can see why there was a lot of heavy criticism on that, why it was such that. So, because of the commercials and because not a whole lot was advanced with the Sami Zayn and English thing, even though I quite enjoyed it, I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. That last week's SmackDown. Just revising and re-editing like I told you guys I would. And 205 Live was still good. Still the same rating that I gave it last time. But, Raw rating this week. I'm going to give Raw a solid 8. And here's a couple reasons why. I don't want to say... how do I put this? It's a very entertaining episode of Raw. And it kept me engaged throughout the most part. A lot of interesting stories. A lot of, like, Dusty type finishes or something involving interfering for the show. But then again, that's every show. The Enzo and Big Cass stuff, it was kind of cool this week, but then again, it hasn't been, so I'm not really interested in this entire segment. Bray Wyatt, what are you doing with you? Emma, what are you doing with you? And the big point, which takes away a full point, is where are the Revival and the Hardys? Where are they? I know one of the Revival might be potentially injured, but you got rid of all 4 of those teams in one of the build-ups to SummerSlam. That means they're not going to even be on the show. What happened to the Woken Hardys and stuff from last week? I have no earthly idea. But that aside, I'm going to give this Raw an 8 out of 10. It's a nice solid B. And it gives a good thumbs up to Raw. It was good. It was entertaining. But it could have been, just with a couple tweaks, just a little bit better. What do you guys think of Raw? Let me know down in the comments below. Hit the thumbs up button. Hit the subscribe button and help us reach 100 subscribers by 2018. That's 100. 100. I've been Michael Cruz from the Wrestle-MaGiC channel. Tune in on Wednesday to see Brad's SmackDown review. And tune in on Thursday to see his 205 Live review and my NXT review. I'm sure they're both going to be an amazing time. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.